I'll tell you what, man, after working in Palm Springs, this is nice. It was hot as hell out there. So let me tell you, let's talk about electric trucks. And there's a law coming out, they say in 2035. It's actually coming out in 2025. You need to listen to this video. It's going to affect you faster than you think. It's about your new pickup truck being electric. If you think that I'm against clean energy, my whole roof, all that up there too, is covered in solar. I got 7 kilowatts. I even got my neighbor getting it. He's got all solar. He's even got more panels than me. And real quick, how you do that cheap is you go to a solar kit company. Screw those solar bandits that come and put that stuff on your roof. They are a ripoff. You get a kit company to buy the kit, and you hire a local electrician, find one of your buddies or whatever, have them put it up, and mine cost me like 13 grand, and I have no electric bill, pretty much. My whole house, shop, everything runs on solar. Except I'm hooked into the grid, which I'm gonna be changing that. It costs a little more money to get out of that one. The reason why I'm getting off of that is because what's happening in the near future, 2025. That's in a couple of years, guys. This is all going to change. You're going to have difficulty buying a gas or diesel pickup. Everybody's talking about 2035. It is 2025 when this starts, and it's going to impact you immediately. So you need to get on that voting, start doing the right thing. We're going to talk about this. And even if you're in another state, you need to be realizing these guys are all in this together. So in 2025, the 2026 year models come out, and 30 some odd percent of those vehicles need to be electric. The manufacturers have to supply 30, I think it's 30, I forget, 32% or something. You can read the California.gov website and find out that in like 27, it's 50% of all the new vehicles have to be electric. Now, you know, there's a lot of issues to that. We're going to talk about those in detail. If you hang in there on the video, and we're going to talk about the impact, environmental impact, and the financial impact, and the logistics impact for painting. And if you think your jobs are expensive now, wait till then. Myself, I've had this truck. This truck is a 2003. It has no emissions equipment on it. It's a federal model. It's a diesel. I don't plan on getting rid of it. Hopefully I never wreck it. You just never know when that's going to happen. Somebody just runs into you. I don't know what I'll do then. I might just have to look at moving. And I just plan on maintaining this sucker right to the very end. It's not that I can't afford to go and buy a new truck. I just don't want one. There's really no reason for me to buy a new truck. This truck is in good shape. Body wise, it's in good shape with the engine. I can always repaint the outside and make it look better again. So for me, it's no big deal to keep this one. We're gonna jump right into the biggest issue with contractors using an electric vehicle. Let's just talk about the range problem. Now, this is something when you talk to electric car people, they never want to talk about. They go, because you look at the environment, the range on it, and it says, oh, it has a 250-mile range. You think, oh, wow, that's fine. Until you put all your stuff in the back and the ladder rack and all that other stuff, and your range drops like 50%. You know, these new vehicles are based on efficiency, and when you put ladders on it and you have a lot of weight in them, that ruins the whole concept of electric running car. It makes it very, very, very terrible range. It will bring your range down so much you won't even believe it. Now, so when you're running with your bed full of 1,000 pounds of weight, and you got 4 guys in the truck, and you got your lights on, and you got your wipers on, now your range is really bad. So that 250-mile range just became 100 miles real quick. And again, this is something you talk to electric car people, and I've been researching myself I've gotten with people who sell electric cars, spent hours with them that have been trained in this whole stuff and going over the numbers for myself. I've even looked into buying just an electric car, and the range just doesn't even work for me because I drive really long distances. I go all the way to the Bay Area and back, and it just doesn't work out for me. Electric cars are great for commuting. They're great for if you had to just drive from your house 2 or 3 miles or 5 miles or 10 miles to a job site back. But most of us that do contracting don't do that. We drive 100 miles some days, every day, back and forth to work. And if you're like me and that's what you do, you might be out of range before you even get to work. That is, when you got all your equipment in there and you got your ladders stacked up, you're pushing a lot of air, your efficiency goes way down, and range becomes a huge problem. So if you're like me, you say, hey, you know what? I don't want to buy an electric truck. I'm not ready for it. I don't think the whole system's ready for it. Let me tell you, when 30% of the cars are mandated and trucks to be electric in 2025, that's in a couple of years, what's going to happen is so just like what's happening today, if you noticed, we have a real supply problem with new cars and trucks. And if you go down and try and buy a new truck, they're going to add a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 premium to that vehicle because there's such low inventories. So what's going to happen is the same thing is going to continue, and every year it gets worse, because in 2025 it's 30%, then it goes to 42, then it goes to like 50, goes to 50. In a couple of years, 50% of all vehicles have to be electric that they sell. Listen, that's what the manufacturers have to supply to the dealer. So what's going to happen is you're going to go down to the dealer, and he's going to go, oh, well, you can get one of these new electric trucks. We got plenty of those, but you want the gas one? Well, I'm sorry, you know what? That one has these fancy floor mats in it, and I'm not going to take them out. And I'm adding $10,000 to the sticker price because we've only got 3 of them. We got 20 electric ones. We got 3 of these. And like I said, every year it's going to get worse. So what's going to happen is people are going to end up having to get electric trucks. I don't know if this law will get reversed. I'm hoping it will. It's already a law in California, and a lot of other states are looking at it. So if you live in a state that's kind of bluish here, you might want to check out some things and start voting the other way, guys, because I'm going to tell you, if everything's going to be electric, this is going to impact you directly very, very badly, especially when you're talking about pickup trucks that you use, and you put weight in and you carry back and forth to work. So what's going to happen is, let me just give you an example. There was a person who bought a Tesla. Okay, they bought a Tesla and they did not have a 220 plug. And a lot of you guys may not even have 220 plugs because you live in apartments. Okay, and if you can't plug your truck in a 220 plug and let it slow charge, then you're going to have to go to a supercharger every day. And let me tell you what happens. This guy had a Tesla, brand new Tesla. He had 20,000 miles on it. 20,000, that was it. And the batteries were junk because he had to supercharge it every day. Supercharging, doing that fast charging, ruins your batteries very quickly. And this is, again, another thing most Tesla owners will not talk about. And the electric trucks and cars only last about 10 years. The battery life is over. And a lot of these things, the battery is very integral to the frame and body, and you cannot separate the two. Like in a Toyota Prius and stuff like that, kind of well made, because you can pull the batteries out, you can send them out to a place, they can rebuild them, put them back in. But when we're talking about a whole vehicle that is 100% electric, you're talking about they have to have a cooling system for the batteries. They have to have a whole bunch of things just to make them efficient enough to be working well enough to be able to drive every day. So when those batteries have that cooling system and all that other stuff, they're very hard to separate from the car, or truck in this case. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on the way to the work in the morning, I certainly don't have time to go and charge for 45 minutes. I'm losing daylight. the heat's coming. I want to get out there and get my work started and get out of there before the heat. You know, a lot of us are like that in the painting business, and that's what we need to be. And the electric thing doesn't really work for us. So if you're this truck here, by the time I get done with it and it's over, I'm going to have it for like 35 or 40 years. Couldn't do that with an electric car. So a lot of people aren't looking at this as the environmental impact of the vehicle. Look, if you look at from the day that you use it to the day you crush it, okay, and you're only going to get 10 years out of an electric car or truck, and I get 30 or 40 years out of my gas or diesel truck, especially diesel, you're talking about the environmental impact of manufacturing and demolition is less on this. Now, yeah, it does put out tailpipe emissions. There is some issue there, but really, when you look at the environmental impact of the entire thing, from the time you manufacture it to the time you demolition it for each vehicle, really, how much difference is it going to make when I've got a vehicle that only lasts 10 years? The problem is the politicians aren't looking at but one thing. They just want to go after and help their base to get what they want, and they're not thinking about the whole impact of it, and they don't really care. It's all about votes, man. That's what it's about. You know, I've always been about doing the right thing. So doing the right thing is important. That's why I got the solar on my house, because it makes sense to me. When I spend 13 grand and I have zero electric bill, it doesn't make much calculation problem in my head for me to know that that's a good deal and I can't lose. But on this one, when it comes to weight and it comes to pickup trucks, it's really just not working. Especially, let's say, when you have an issue like what they got in Florida right now with the hurricane and no electric power out there. So how are they going to get out there and fix any of the stuff going on, you know, when they have no electric power to plug into? Everybody's going to fire up their little old generator. Wait a minute, you have no gas, no electric? You know, that's kind of stupid. In 2027, California is not going to let you buy any of these things new. This is a generator, by the way. So when the power goes out, because everybody's using it, where are you going to get your power from? How are you going to get to work? That's why I'm going battery backup electric on my roof, man. It's going to cost a lot of money. I mean, it costs me more money to do that than it does to buy all the solar panels on the mine are all on microinverters too, so they're really safe. It's really easy to do. It's something to really look into. Now, unless the other issue with this, now this is rapid expansion, rapidly bringing in the electric vehicles and electric pickup trucks and electric trucks into California, when we already are getting rolling blackouts in the summer because we don't have enough electric power. I put some numbers to this so you guys can realize how much that is. For one supercharger, look at, I want you to think about how many gas stations there are in California right now, and then each gas station has what, 6 to 8, 12 pumps. Okay, if you add up how many pumps there are, gas pumps there are, it's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of pumps. Now, if you've got trucks like this that have a very low range because they put weight in them, that's the issue we're running into, is the weight. You are going to need a lot more superchargers. Now, I just explained that my whole roof is covered in solar. Okay, well, the whole west-facing side. Okay, the entire part is covered with solar to power up my whole house, and that's 7 kilowatts. To run one supercharger, it takes from 40 to 60 kilowatts. One supercharger. So that's about 9 times the solar panels that are on my roof. Can you guys do the math there? So in order to have enough superchargers for everyone to be able to charge their car, that's going to make it last only 20 or 30,000 miles, by the way, again, they're going to have basically the whole state is going to be covered in solar panels to do it with solar. Or we can just fire up more coal plants. which coal is the most carbon emissions there is. I mean, really, it just makes no sense. The other thing in that law is that they have to mandate the manufacturers to warranty the cars for 10 years. How is it even possible to do that when the battery can't be separated and in that short a time? It's just not going to happen. It's just, there's no possible way. So what's going to happen, I think, in 2025, another thing that can happen is, like I said, if you're on the fence buying another truck, or your truck's getting a little you might want to go out of state somewhere and go buy one. Well, I don't know what you're going to do, but anyway, it's going to be a little tricky to buy another truck. Again, you can keep your used one, or you can buy a used one, but the supply of those is going to go down. So what's going to happen? If the supply is way down, the price is going to go way up. When you just force things to happen quicker than they can, see, it never works out right. It just becomes a problem for everyone. So what's it going to do? Honestly, it's going to increase the price of paint jobs. Again, already we're charging astronomical numbers to paint stuff because our paint's already gone way up in price. We have in California, if you didn't know, if you're from another state, we have a recycle fee that they add to every gallon of paint. There's also a lumber tax. So if you buy any lumber, on top of the regular sales tax, you're going to have a little tax that adds up to a lot of money on lumber. And that's why California has a very short supply of homes, because contractors and builders are going to other states because it's more profitable to build over there. All this is adding to the ship show that we have in this state. And until everybody realizes that this is all a huge issue, and it's going to affect them financially, and it's going to affect the environment when you have all that battery waste. And yeah, the batteries might be 100% recyclable, but let's think about this. What kind of chemicals do you need to use to recycle the batteries, and how hazardous are those chemicals, and where do they go? Before you decide, oh well, there's 100% recyclable. Well, just like plastic. I had a great idea adding a CRV to these. Who do you think gets that money? So that you recycle this plastic, which the environmental hazard of the materials used, the chemicals needed to recycle this, are more harmful than making new stuff. Just so you know that, if you didn't know. I've actually talked to a plastics representative who does plastic sales, and he says, oh, that's kind of a sales gimmick to recycle plastic. The environmental impact is actually worse, but it makes everyone feel better. The more I dig into this, the more I see the other side of it that just is really ugly. Electric trucks mandated, and listen, I'm not against them altogether. I think some people could really do well with an electric vehicle, even electric truck, if you're working local and you have solar on your roof, and you have a battery backup to where you're charging it at night, and it uses from the battery backup, it goes into your truck, and you're not pulling from the grid. That's great. Well, a system like that runs like close to $50,000 if you do it yourself. Just so you know, it's not cheap. And if you have a solar company do it, I'm sure it's well into the hundreds for something like that. And it just doesn't work out financially. The numbers don't work. It just doesn't work at all when you run it that way. So from a math standpoint, this absolutely makes no sense. You're talking about a $40,000 car, and a pickup truck's going to be quite a bit more. I'm sure a 3/4 ton with a giant battery that they're going to say is like, oh, it's going to have like 350, 400 mile range. And now when you put all that weight in there, it's going to be immediately you start pulling a trailer. Oh my God. Start pulling a trailer with one of these. Oh man, it pulls the hill so nice. Yeah, I just was at the bottom of the hill. Nope, got to charge. And especially if you're going up in the mountains, you're going uphill. So now you put the weight in the truck. If I got to do a job up in Big Bear and I go from Riverside up to Big Bear to go do a job, I'll definitely won't make it on range. Because now you got a heavy truck, you got a lot of weight in there, all pulling it uphill, 4 guys in the truck. It ain't happening. So, and I can imagine one of those trucks will be well into like 150 grand or so. I mean, when a regular diesel pickup like this is 100, I'm sure an electric one that does something similar is going to be close to 150, and it only lasts 20 to 30,000, 40,000 miles. If I supercharge it, come on, that's just ridiculous. And they say, oh, well, they got to warranty it for 10 years. So now what's going to happen to the price then? If they have to warranty it and the dealer goes, oh, we're eating a lot of these things. Hey, the manufacturer is going to go, oh man, we're eating all these trucks because they don't last the 10 years. And what's going to happen to the price then? They're going to double, triple, because most of that cost is batteries. There's a whole slew of issues. There's a lot of environmental concerns about, where does all lithium come from for the batteries, and the battery technology is going to get better. That's just wishful thinking. Let's make laws based on what's available and not on, our crystal ball. California goes out, takes a crystal ball and says, oh, I know that in the future we will have better technology and we will make batteries that will last longer, and we will make all these things better. In my crystal ball, I see this happening. And guess what? When we don't make it, we already got a law in place. We're screwed. Honestly, it's really hard to reverse these types of things once they start. So the only thing you guys can do is look. Here's the thing that you can do. You want to do something about this? Email Mr. Governor. He ain't going to do nothing. Email your Congress people for the state and let them know that you are changing your ballot to Republican and you're going to just vote them out of office. That is the only way that this is going to change. Now, you might not like some of the stuff the Republicans do. Maybe you're against the abortion laws and stuff like that, which I am. I am a pro-life person, but I am not a pro-life mandator. I would encourage everyone to have a child. It is a wonderful thing. But with this type of thing going on in this world, where you have stepdads coming into the picture, and I don't know how many people I've known that this has happened to, that they've knocked up their stepchild, raped them, and you're going to make them have a baby, and then you're going to say, oh, no, I'm not going to pay for that stuff. Yeah, you know what? I was talking to a girl, and then I talked to the hospital, and I was talking to a woman who knew a person. This was a friend of a friend, directly, okay, who this guy knocked up his girlfriend, and she goes, oh, I'm going to have the child, and she's on drugs, and she's just like, she's doing fentanyl and meth, so that's a wonderful thing, and she's still pregnant, okay. She's going to go all the way through her pregnancy, and she's already done this. This is her 4th kid. 3 of them, she's been to the hospital, and after she gave birth, she's like, I'm out of here. Leaves it at the hospital. If you don't believe me, go to a local hospital, talk to the nurses in the nurse ward, and ask them, how many women come in here and leave their child? Staggeringly, it is very high. So if you're one of those people that says, hey, I'm okay with abortion, but I'm not paying for it, let me tell you, you know what? That's what's happening. They don't want to pay. They don't have the money for an abortion, so they leave the child after it's been on drugs for 9 months in the hospital for someone else to deal with. So yeah, you know what? I'm for the government paying for it, which is a little different than most Republicans, and I would encourage you to really look into what I'm saying and maybe email about that as well, because these laws, things in Texas and all the South and all that other stuff, they're making us all look bad, and it's really only 50% of the Republican Party that is for all this stuff. But when you look at the other side of the scale, the high taxes, these kind of laws that will affect you financially, literally, so you cannot work and pay your bills, they are much more environmentally impact than the abortion laws. And even though, you know, it is a tragic situation, I do not like it. I do not like what Texas did. I do not like what these other states have done, taking away women's rights, because you know what, it's a medical situation. It's a medical thing. Yeah, it's a child. It's a tragic thing. You know, and it's also same thing when you have the death penalty. It's a tragic situation. There was a person probably grew up innocent and little by little became more and more corrupt, and then did something very, very bad and has to be put to death. But I'm absolutely for the death penalty, because the risk of that person doing it again, even in jail, is very high to the other people who just are in jail for a period of time, who just want to do their time and get out and get on with their lives. But anyway, I didn't really want to get too political, but I'm just saying, listen, this is really, you know what, 10 years ago, when Arnold was governor, I didn't even care about politics much. It didn't affect me. But when I've seen the stuff that's happened since Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom have come into the state, it's just completely so far out of whack. It affects me so much that I've just had to become more politically active and more into telling people about the right thing. It's all about the right thing. It's not about right and left. It's about doing the right thing. And these left people, are just not doing the right thing. It's just a reckless problem. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.